some of the greens from down there. Put it in the pot.
That's crazy.
Get some good shape. Anyway. No, this is going a little better than that.
Neptune, but those are chips, unfortunately.
No, it's loose. This isn't a stone.
It looks like it's in good condition anyway, right?
It looks perfect.
It is?
Yeah.
I don't think this was here when we were here a year ago.
It's been a week.
Yeah, it seems like it.
We have some.
Yeah. These say B on them, like, so not as common as the regular ones we find.
Oh yeah, worth taking, but I think we know where they're at. If we ever want them, we could saw them off for the next one.
Oh yeah.
You can take it.
You know, there's only one interesting thing about there's a factory area.
Really? Yeah, I see it.
Is it special in any way?
No.
Maybe we should just leave it. Hey, you just.
I said it's the same as the other one. You can just take it off this way.
Oh. Is there anything special about it?
No. I think no. Look at this.
Oh man, a bear! No way. Guys, a bear.
Look at all these.
Someone must have put them there.
I know it fell off, so.
Yeah, it looks different. Something about it.
Get him.
Milwaukee and Boston, and,
Yeah, they're nice and good.
and it's got a big. It says A on the other side. There's a big bubble in it.
Let's see if we can get a bonus too. I didn't even try that.
Yep, come right off. All right, end of story.
Look, it's completely empty.
This whole country, I've seen insulators on the ground. So it's a whole rotator. I see 19. Is it gonna be whole? It is. Ah, shit. Yeah, we got one.
Pays to be tall.
This is an Armstrong, 1952. Unusual. This is a little unusual. Yeah, for insulators we find. That's a Hemingway, or no, that's an Armstrong. That's sort of in a Hemingway 16 style.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Go ahead and get some yourself. Whoever cut it down was one of these people that don't care about insulators. They just want to cut these poles down.
Armstrong.
One is a
Hard to see that that's a Jeep. There's a lot to see.
good thing the game is. You look out for that too then.
That's a light one. Here.
Where did I give it left? You see?
That's a neck. I don't see a puller.
Well, we gotta go back to the car now. To get rid of this. We're not carrying it.
Right here. Oh my god, it's a bell. Oh my god. Dad, it's a bell. This hole. That is cool. Alright, so this is the roundup. Obviously not the most complete roundup, but I just rounded up all the more unique insulators that we found. So this video was like over a span of like 3 days of insulator hunting, so I guess these are the more unique finds in the 3 days. I'm gonna start off over here. So these are, I refer to them as bells because they look like bells, but these are actually CD 152 Hemingway 40s, and we actually never found one before, so that's why I'm pretty excited about it. Right? I do realize they're a pretty common insulator, but I still like them. I'm gonna go over to this one. So this one I believe is the first one in the video we got. Not really much unique about it besides the fact there's a couple of bubbles in there. Usually it's the Brookfields with bubbles, but I guess sometimes you see Hemingways with bubbles. But, you know, it's like a sort of a deep aquish color. And that's sort of all that's interesting about that. Let's go over to this one. This is the last one we found, and it's kind of the same thing, except if you look at its drip points, they're longer than in the other two. So you see how those are shorter? Maybe that like needs some kind of age difference or something. And I'm also just realizing now the dome of this one seems more squared off than this. I don't know though, so. But the third bell, or CD 152, something pretty cool about it. So, first glance it looks pretty normal. Maybe I just saw it. But turn it around right here. It's a pretty nice amber swirl in it. And pretty sure if the more amber swirls that are in your CD 152, probably the more it's worth. So that one has the most amber swirls. And I believe actually I didn't mention it, but the latest CD 152 we found, I think I found a extremely small amber swirl. Let me see if I can find it. So let's look. Yeah, right there. You see it? It's a little tiny swivel of a swirl. That's it, though. All right. Moving on. I guess we're gonna start from the left to the right. Moving on. I'm gonna bring 2 of these at a time. Wait a sec. Make some room here. So these are the 2 crown embossed Brookfields we found. CD 133. This is the first one we found. It came off of one of those down poles we found in the video, and we later found out that the reason why those poles were down was because we saw like there are these other wires on the poles that are like thick, and I guess they were filled with copper, but the copper were missing. So whoever cut them down was obviously after the copper. But I guess they didn't care about the insulator, so that was good for us. But this one says W. Brookfield, New York. Now, why I said this one's weird is because usually the ones we find say W. Brookfield, and then they have the street name and then New York. This one has no street name, just W. Brookfield, New York. Another thing on the other side it says A, just kind of random. But the other nice feature about this one is it's got a big bubble in it, and you probably heard me say that in the video. It's got a big bubble, and I feel like some of these crown embossed have like sort of sometimes a milky swirl, and I think I might see a slight one in there. I don't know though, but yeah, that's that one. Let's move on to this one. This is the one we found in the later part of the video, and it's actually the same exact type. It's just it's a lot wonkier and like cruder, but it still says W. Brookfield, New York, and yeah, it still has this random A in the back, but it's a lot wonkier. This one was like found like sort of on the surface, like of the down pole. It wasn't found on the down pole, but it was like right next to it. It was sort of sitting like that underneath it. When I first saw it, I was like, oh no, that's a chip. It's not really a chip. I think it's just like an error or an underpool or whatever they call it. But it's kind of just a little bit like hairline cracky around it, but it's not that big of a deal though. And you know, both of them are like an aqua, so I guess that's them. Now we're gonna move on to this one, CD162s we got. So this is a Brookfield, not W. Brookfield. This is later, and we tend to call these Emerald Brookfields, but I didn't really talk about them much in the video, but you probably saw it one of the later clips of the down pole. What's special about it though is a lot of these we find are CD162.1, which the only difference is the dome is completely squared off. But this is CD162, I guess. And it says this one is from New Jersey because it doesn't say New York on the other side. But it just says Brookfield, which I'm pretty sure means it's from New Jersey. Another weird thing about it is there's just a random little 5 on the like near the bottom of the K and the F, which we never really saw that either. You know, it's a nice looking Brookfield and everything. There's not really a number on the top, and there's also a nice little amber blob there. But this one's actually the most like aqua. It's not the most, but it's like pretty aqua for one of these. A lot of ones we find are just filled with amber swirls. But this one just has one little amber blob. You know, it's still sort of the camera isn't really picking up the color that great, but it's sort of greener in real life than it is on the camera. The problem about it is we noticed that there's like damage on it, so I don't know if you can see it, but there's a crack that like went almost all the way around, horizontally around the skirt. But we put oil in there, so it's less noticeable, but that's still always there. But it's still a unique insulator. And the last part about that actually makes it kind of unique is, look at the base. It's like very flat and edgy. Like if they just cut it off and just, they wouldn't have done that. But like, I looked in the book, and this looks halfway in between like a smooth base and something called a round base. So smooth bases are like, you know, look at this crown emboss. That's smooth base. It looks round, but it's just smooth base. But the characteristic of a round base is it's kind of like a smooth base, except you might see it's a little like rounded, so it goes like that little. And the seam on the side of the insulator goes underneath into there, which this one actually has that. And so it's like, it leads us to think this is halfway between a smooth and a round base. And we don't really find insulators with that type of base. Yeah, that's that. It's got damage, but it's still pretty nice. Moving on, the star of the show. I didn't really intend to do that, but yeah, you can see it's a nice star, and you can, even on the camera, you can see it has a definite like green tint. Yeah, it's always nice to squeak off a star. We squeak this one off with our little friend named Squeaky. We decided to name him Squeaky. So our little tools who like picks off the insulators off our poles. And yeah, it's got a star. It's not all that much. There's only one little bit of damage, just some like crack that goes a little bit along there. Might be a little hard to notice, but there's like junk all in it. You see those little white specks? I think they call that snow. I don't know what, it's just junk. But it makes it look nice, like when you put a light under it. Yeah, stars tend to have that little circle around the top of the pinhole. All of them we found did. And the only other thing I noticed about this one is if you look at the threads, like down there the threads look normal. Once you get higher, they start getting like sort of warped away a little. They're sort of like you know what I mean? They sort of get wider. So like, look at this. Here's normal threads. You see how it doesn't do that, but then look at those threads. So yeah, that's that one. But yeah, nice. It's probably worth some money. Maybe not hundreds of dollars, but probably tens or maybe even $100. I don't know. Moving on is we're getting into beehives, and we did find a lot of beehives in this video, but I decided to only include this one. This is the one we found at on the third day, that beehive that was on that fallen pole. And the reason why we picked it is because it has unusual color for most beehives. So I'm not gonna do both of them, but like that's the normal color of a beehive, sort of an aqua, but that's like a deep aquish blue, and it's gonna be unnoticeable on camera, but it might have a slight green tint in real life. And we never found one that type of color. But other note is it's embossing, Brookfield, New York. It's again, it's probably hard to notice, but it's like a little bit more it's elongated a little, and if you look really carefully, it looked like it was like put in twice. You can see a faint one like if you see that like O, see how there's like a fragment of the O before, so like if they tried to push that embossing in twice or something, I don't know. It's not really visible on the New York side, but yeah, interesting color, bubbles. It's a Brookfield, so yeah, that's that one. Then this one I took out. We actually tend to find those types of beehives more often. I guess they call them postal beehives. This is I guess they call these Western Union, but it's still like it's got the bee. Sometimes one time we found one with a double bee, but this is just a bee, and I think that's called Western Union beehive. We found two of these, but the other one we put it in the garage because like it's kind of the exact same as this one, but we had this one laying around, so I was going to show. This was found sort of in the first day of the video, and it's probably not that valuable of an insulator, but we don't find it as much as the others, so we find it interesting. And it's got bubbles and stuff. The little groove indentation's higher than on the other beehives we find more often. You can see. But yeah, that's that one. And I will go into the garage and show you some of the insulators that are in there, and a lot of them are probably ones from this video, so you'll see that. Let's move on to these two clears. These are the only clears I'm gonna be featuring here because they're CD number we never find. That's a CD 122. I thought at first it was like a Hemingway. The reason why I thought that is because actually the first glass insulator ever found was a Hemingway 16 CD 121 or CD 122. But these are Armstrongs. They're called Armstrong number 2s. The Armstrongs we tend to find are number 1, the CD 155, but these are CD 122 Armstrong number 2s, and they're clear, you know. About the dating on them, I'm pretty sure this is how you date them. I'm almost positive. This is so like those two numbers there. Of course, it says Made in USA. Those two numbers there. I think you listen to the number on the end. So that says 9. So that's 49, and this one's actually the same date, 49. So I think these are both from 1949. And if it were 1950. And I do realize there was another number, and that could very well be the date. But if this were 1958, there's the Armstrong symbol wouldn't be in cursive. It probably would have had a circle around it. So it's probably 1949 Armstrongs. So I'm gonna put them there. And last and maybe least, I don't know. This was from the third day. Just a spool. We found a fallen pole before we got to that bridge. And yeah. So like I guess in the video this would be after one of the bells that we dug out of the ground. That was actually a cool find, but. This one, there's like a fallen down pole, and there are no insulators on it, but there are these spool insulators everywhere. There must have been like 10 of them or something. So we took one of them, and all of them are basically the same. They have a white spool, and they all say ANSI 532. I don't know if that's a date, but I'm not really a ceramic insulator expert. Maybe this is porcelain, I don't know. It's white, but that's that. We only took one. So, that's gonna be this roundup, but I'm also gonna, after this, I'm gonna put in a roundup of the whole insulators from the whole first day. Like, you know, we went out with the picker, then we screwed off the 19s, and then we went exploring in the woods, like that day. Because we actually made a roundup that day. So that'll have all the other insulators. But after that, I'm gonna go to the garage and show you our insulator cabinet, and you'll see how many insulators we have. But you'll also see the insulators from this video. So yeah, see you then. Yes, so this is the insulator cabinet. Yeah, we basically had to make this because we were running out of space to put our insulators in. Plus we had to put the Christmas tree there. So the insulators that we found that day, let's see with the beehives. A lot of these beehives were probably found that day. And have it all labeled CD 145 beehives, normal beehives. I call them that because get it out. So that's a normal beehive shape. That's like a thick beehive shape. And that's a skinny one. So you can probably see the difference, but that's why we would do that. Yeah. And the other thing, yeah, these are CD 145 beehives wide and B or double B beehives. So the one we found in the video, so this is this is a double B. And this is one we found in the video. Just 1B Western Union. It's basically the same as that other one, so there that is. Let's move up to this cabinet. This cabinet's a little more interesting. We got Crad embossed, Neptunes. We call them Neptunes, but they're, yeah, I probably call it Neptune in the video, but they're CD133, W. Brookfield, New York, and they tend to have like a, sort of separating them two categories. Some of them have a round top, some of them have a square top. On the video we with that dramatic part where it was falling, but I caught it. This is that one has a squared top, and yeah, it had damage, but you know, still a nice insulator. And yeah, these are our Brookfields. As I was saying in the video, some just say Brookfield. Those are the two we have that say Brookfield. So I think they're from New Jersey, but they have like a really squared off top, and that makes them CD162.1. Let's move on to the 19s. We got a lot of these. So over here is CD162 Hemingway 19 sharp drip points. They say Hemingway 19 made in USA, and tends to be a lot of difference. So a lot of them are like a nice Hemingway blue. You can probably see how that's Hemingway blue. Nice strip points. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Yeah, found a lot of those in the video. These are CD162 Hemingway 19 sharp drip points, but one category here says Hemingway made in USA, another says number 19, and then the other one we have stored here has round drip points and it says Hemingway 19 made in USA, and they're clear. So those are those. These are these. We didn't find any in the video, so I'm just gonna show them real quick. That's what they look like. Then here is CD162 Hemingway 19's round drip point. They just say Hemingway 19 made in USA. I know for a fact that a lot of these last ones we put in were probably found that last day. So it's probably one of the ones we found on that last day. Yeah, they're nice too. And then we're planning to put this shelf, we're gonna fill it up with CD150, CD152 to CD154, and there's a lot of clears. This is just filled boxes of clears. Clears we tend to find are usually Armstrong and Little Tatum, and it's taking up this shelf. So we're gonna have to do something about that. But yeah, that's the shelf. And that's the video. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm out.